So today I'm going to talk about how I consistently get deals on autopilot and how I do that in prospecting about maybe 2 hours a day. Who here would like to learn that?
Let's go!
Okay, awesome. So yeah, before I get into that, I'm going to ask you guys a quick question. So who in here likes money?
I like money.
That's all money gets? Who in here likes money? Let me get it. Yeah, that's what I thought. I love money. Now, who in here, raise your hand if you open up your phone right now and you saw another $10,000 in your bank account you weren't expecting. Who in here, raise your hand if that would make a difference in your life right now. Yeah. All right, keep the hands up. Sorry, I should have said first. So let's up it. I still see some hands aren't up. So say 30 grand. So you open up your bank account, extra 30 grand. Would that make a difference in your life?
No.
All right, still see a couple of hands. There's some ballers in here, I can tell. So last question, 60 grand. Up it again, you open it up, 60 grand is in your account. Would that make a difference?
Woo!
All right. So I'm here to tell you that not only is it possible to make 60K in wholesale, but it could be just one deal away. As Isaac shared up here earlier, we did 72K on one deal. So in our first, and I'm living proof as well that it's possible, because in my very first 60 days real estate wholesaling, I made over 60 grand. And I'm going to share the exact strategy, how we did that, but it hasn't, on top of that, we're living a life by design. I get to work with my beautiful business partner, Bree, every day. We spend every day together. We have the house, we have the best dogs in the world, and you can see them here. Let's get married, start business. And I'm so grateful, man, because I work jobs I hated, and I'm really grateful for where we're at now. We have a great group, friend group, and there's so much to be grateful for, and I know the best is yet to come. So, but it wasn't always this way. Growing up, I had a fuck ton of excuses on why I shouldn't be successful. And so many reasons that I was counted out. Growing up, I was abused, I was abandoned, I lived in group homes, juvenile detention centers, I was homeless, had multiple suicide attempts, all under the age of 18. And, there's this little voice in my head always told me that you never be shit. Probably just getting beat down all the time, telling me I never be shit. But, and I share that with you guys because if I can go through all that and still be successful and, still live a life in a complete 180, so can you. I'm sure you guys, I have more time, I could do a whole sob story and shit that I can go through to get here. But we don't have time for that. I'm sure no one wants to hear it. But I just share that with you because, again, it doesn't matter what your excuses are. Because even when I was going through my worst of times, I always had this little voice inside me, this little thing inside me, beat down a lot of those times. But it always wanted more. It was always hungry for more. So you guys know what I'm talking about. If you're hungry for more, you want more in life, let me hear you say yes.
Yes!
Woo! That's why you guys are here. So let's get into it. So we're going to go over how to consistently get deals on autopilot. Next time, I'm going to share the 3 steps we use in our business that you guys can copy, rip me off, and actually give you everything to rip me off so you guys can start doing it yourself. So step 1, we have how to clone yourself and get your clones to work even when you're not working. Step 2, how to get thousands of leads, a lot of them for free. And step 3, how to wholesale anywhere, how to do this shit virtually. So let's get into step 1, how to clone yourself. So this was Canva's Stormtroopers or clones. You guys like Star Wars, let's try to go for the clones. But let's go enough. So when I first started real estate wholesaling, and to back up a second, I've only been in real estate for about 2 years. And like I said, since then, I've just been doing deals month after month all over the country. But when I first started, I tried to come in with the white belt mentality. I tried to come in not knowing shit and just trying to do what everyone else is doing so I could see what works and what didn't. So I did what everyone else was doing, which is cold calling. That's what everyone says to do. Who here started cold calling their business? Yeah, exactly. So that's what everyone's doing. So I said, hey, I'm going to try it. I'm going to see if it works. So nothing against cold calling, but I've done it my whole career. I've done it quite often, and it's a great strategy. It works, but it's not the best method. So I'll share, how it started with me for cold calling and kind of what I'm doing now. So when I first started, I was cold calling. I was calling here in San Antonio. So I would call, and I'd sit there, and literally 90% of the time I would just wait for somebody to answer. And it's frustrating. And then when someone finally answers, they tell me something like, hey, go fuck yourself. They tell me something like, hey, I hope your whole family gets cancer and dies. and you're the 15th person to call me today. So it was super discouraging. You know, cold calling is not for the weak heart. You know, cold calling and door knockers, you know, those people are sales warriors. But I kept going. Eventually, I got a deal, and I thought, hey, there has to be a better way. So I said, hey, why don't I implement some stuff that I did in my decade of experience as an entrepreneur in sales and marketing. So I started to automate myself. So what I do now is different than cold calling. Instead of sitting there all day getting I literally upload a list. I press one button, and this automation goes off. And what happens is 5 minutes after, or half a minute after I do that, it sends a text, and then I think 5 minutes later it sends a voicemail. And say the list is 1,000, I'll do 150 at a time. So I'm not getting bogged down by calling too many people at once, because if you do too many, you're going to be on the phone all day. The first time I tried it, I messed it up when I was learning. I think I did like 5,000 people, and my phone didn't stop ringing that whole day. Everyone's like, there's a lot of leads there, and they're like, oh, you obviously don't want to talk to me, and you didn't answer. Yeah, you're right. But so I do it now. I do 150. So I do 150, and then 5 minutes later, I'll do another 150 till it goes through the whole list. And then the next day, it does the same exact thing. So we'll do send another text, another voicemail. So day one, text and voicemail. Day two, text and voicemail. And then 3 days later, so it's on Mondays, on Friday, end of the week, and you can pick what days and times it does it. But it'll send a final takeaway voicemail text. And what changed was all of a sudden I had people responding. You know, most of them weren't interested because again, these are all old lists that everybody's working. But the ones that I was only talking to people now that were interested. They were saying yes or maybe. As soon as I got a positive response, I'd hop on a call, and that instantly changed my day from waiting for people to answer, and for people telling me to go fuck myself and die, and my family gets cancer, to talking to people that were wanting to talk to me and wanted to sell. So all of a sudden I was able to clone myself, and the coolest part, even if I'm not working, those automations are going off. Those clones are working whether I'm working or not. But the issue was the system worked too well. And I went through too many leads. I go through all the leads, and I ran out of stuff to talk to. So that leads me into step number 2. How to get thousands of leads for free. So as I mentioned, when I first started, I was doing exactly what everyone else does in the industry, which is driving for dollars. So who here knows what driving for dollars is? Yeah, so about half the people. So people that don't know, driving for dollars is literally getting in your car, driving around, looking for a house that maybe looks beat up, or maybe looks distressed, and it's still a guessing game. They're probably more likely than someone with like a very well maintained house that they want to sell, not all the time. And again, it's a great way to start. It's a great method. That 60K we made in the first 60 days, that was from driving dollars. But it's not the most efficient way, because if you're spending your whole day driving around in your car, you're not doing the most important thing, which, as we mentioned in the beginning, is stopping sellers. So we did that. It was working okay, and saying it's got to be a better way. It's got to be a better way. So what's everybody else doing? They're using PropStream. They're pulling lists from sites like PropStream or Batch or whatever you want to use. To me, it's all pretty much the same. Maybe there's a better way I don't know about. We pulled lists, and it was great. But what we didn't realize was that we moved to San Antonio, which was one of the most competitive markets for wholesalers. So that's the reason I was calling people saying, hey, I'm getting called 15 times a day, because it's true. And I didn't want to be number 15. So I said, hey, how can I be number 1? Because I'm in a competitive market. I don't want to be the 15th caller and hope I get lucky. Like, that's not going to be a good deal if I get it. And 2, it's just a huge waste of time. So what we did is I went into research mode. And I said, where does PropStream, where are these sites, where do they get the data from, and how can I get it first? So what we found out was that you could actually get these sites right from the county. And you can do this from anywhere. The County Freedom of Information Act, they have to give you this information. And the cool part about it is in San Antonio, it gets requested so frequently, you can actually just go to the Bear County website, press one button, and the list we like is the code violation list. Another quick tip, list we like for PropStream and sites like that, we do vacant, high equity, and the absentee owners. We work pretty well. But again, it's just doing the work. All this work, all this stuff works, but it's just what's most efficient. So we're all of a sudden we're getting this whole list and get thousands of leads for free. I mean, who doesn't like free leads? But yeah, so we did that, and then we still had the same problem, the same 2 problems. I mean, it worked better. We're getting some deals, but we're still in one of the most competitive markets. And the system worked so well with the automations and building ourselves that we were going through all the leads. So that leads us into step 3. So another mistake I made when I first started wholesaling was I would physically go out and I would drive to every single person who wanted to talk to me, or wanted an offer, but was willing to talk to me. I'd go drive to their house. All one of it was on me. I knew I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't properly vet them. But I would drive there and I'd waste my whole day. So I'd spend, it was a half-hour away, so it was huge. I'd drive 30 minutes away, go meet them, we'd shoot the shit and talk my ear off, and they weren't a real seller to begin with. I'd drive 30 minutes back home. I'm like, fuck, this sucks. And I'm discouraged the rest of the day and just wasted half my day. So I said, how are the other big players doing this? This can't be the best way. What's everybody else doing? So I tried to model what the big players in the game, the iBuyers, were doing at the time. I started, the iBuyers were everywhere. I said a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And they don't drive out to see shit. I mean, they have their customer take pictures, and that's it. They have the customer take pictures, they make the offer, they don't worry about the deal until they have it under contract. Because why would I worry about all this stuff, waste all this time if I don't have a deal or if I don't know the deal? So I said, fuck it, let's fuck around, let's find out, let's see if this works. So I didn't think it would, but it worked. So we tried it out, and we were able to get deals. And that saved me so much time, so much headaches, just doing it all over the phone. And then I thought to myself, hey, if I don't have to go out there, if I can have a customer take pictures, or 2, if it's vacant, I can just send someone out there. And here's another quick tip for any, if the customer's not there and need pictures. 1, we hire realtors. They're probably a little more trustworthy, they have realtor licensing. But we pay them to go out and take pictures. If we can't find a realtor, we use an app called TaskRabbit. So do you guys all know what TaskRabbit is? It's an app we use to download it with the odd jobs. Our event attendee here was from TaskRabbit. So pretty cool. That's like $30 to go take pictures. And yeah, so then I thought to myself, hey, so if I can do this without leaving my house, why do I have to stay in San Antonio, the most competitive market? And the answer was I don't. So let's fuck around, let's find out if this works other places. So we did, and it worked. And now we've done deals, I think 6, 7 states. We've done deals in all over Texas, Georgia, Florida, Washington State, California. I don't know, I'm thinking probably missing a couple. But we have a few more in the pipeline too. But we've been able to do that just by using these strategies. So let me ask everyone here a question. If you did what I said in step 1, and you told yourself these obligations, and you did what I said in step 2, and you got thousands of leads for free, and you did what I said in step 3, and you did this virtually, because once you do it virtually, you're not going to run out of leads anymore, so you get leads all over the country, and you don't have to worry about being in a competitive market. And you did this consistently day after day. Do you think you'd be able to consistently get deals? If so, let me hear you say yes.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. It's really that simple.